Chapter 3. Joseph. I met death 5 years ago, its presence suffocating and ominous. Our encounter was brief, but long enough to leave an eternal impression. Death didn't say much. Actually, death didn't say anything at all. Death merely slipped into my car, cloaked in darkness, embraced my beloved wife in the passenger seat, and, Joseph? I shake my head, now present in the church basement. The lights shine from above, one of them flickering in the back corner of the small room. My chair is unsteady beneath me as I prepare to address the group. The group members sit in a circle, their faces etched with sadness and pain. Some stare blankly into the distance, lost in their thoughts like me a moment ago. Others wipe the tears from their eyes. I clear my throat. All right, Joseph. Now is the time to finally tell them why you're here. As I prepare to open up, the walls of the church basement start to close in, making it tough to breathe. I try to speak, but forming words takes more energy than I can manage. The words don't want to come out, so like every time before, I don't force them to. Take all the time you need, Joseph, Pastor Ben speaks softly from directly ahead. A comforting smile spreads across his bearded face. It's a genuine smile that almost makes you feel like everything is fine even when your world is falling apart. I fill my chest with air, twiddling my gold coin in my pocket. Upon exhaling, I come to the harsh conclusion that I'm not ready to open up. Next time, I think to myself the same way I did last week. Joseph, we support you and we're here for you. Whenever you're ready, just let us know. With his attentive gaze, Pastor Ben picks up on the war waging within me. Thankfully, he gestures to the man sitting to my left. I thought I noticed a new face. Would you like to introduce yourself to the group? The man to my left fidgets in his chair, nervously wringing his sweaty hands together. I'm Roderick. Hi, Roderick, the group greets in unison. Welcome to Positive Pathways, Pastor Ben adds in a soothing tone. I want to start by congratulating you on making the effort to attend our support group tonight. It takes a lot of courage to not only show support, but to also seek support. A dimple reveals itself on one of Roderick's plump cheeks as he rocks back and forth. He's sweating through his striped rugby shirt that he's carefully tucked into his baggy cargo shorts. His ankle socks just centimeters above his clunky white running shoes that tap against the floor as he whispers, Thanks. What brings you to Positive Pathways? Pastor Ben asks delicately. I've been coming to Positive Pathways for a year now. I've just about heard this question a million times, and it's a new answer every time. But it's always something along the lines of, I'm here to feel less lonely, I need emotional support, I'm an addict. Judging by the innocent looks of Roderick, I'll bet all my money on him being some kind of lonely mama's boy looking for the courage to move out. Roderick looks at the floor as he confesses, I'm addicted to pornography. Don't ever let me bet again. Pastor Ben does what every decent support group leader does best. He listens. He locks eyes with Roderick and gently nods, communicating that judgment has no place here. It started off as regular porn. Roderick's eyebrows draw apart. I was 12 when I started watching regular types of porn, I guess. It became an everyday habit, and when I was in my late teens, I wasn't getting aroused by regular porn anymore. I began watching more aggressive types of porn. One thing led to another, and now I'm hooked on. His voice fades out as his leaky eyes scan the room for some kind of response, but nobody reacts. Some continue staring blankly in the distance, others still wiping their tears from their own eyes over their own struggles. What Roderick doesn't realize is nobody cares about what he's going through. The sad truth is that we're not here to make others feel better. We're here to feel better about ourselves. I'm a sicko, Roderick mutters. Pastor Ben leans forward, breaking the silence. Roderick, that's not true. It takes serious courage to share what you've shared. The first step in recovering is acknowledging the problem, which you've done wonderfully. Roderick purses his lips, listening intently as Pastor Ben continues. The next step is committing yourself to make the change. Now, this is a scary and difficult step, but it's an important step toward growth and healing. My phone suddenly vibrates, and I pull it out of my pocket to see an incoming call coming from Ava. My fatherly instincts force the thought of Stevie into my mind. When you're a dad like me, you never miss a call from your kid, or the person looking after your kid. I quickly stand to my feet and tiptoe out of the room. What's up? I whisper into the phone as I enter the hall. Everything all right? Everything is fine, Ava instantly assures me. But Stevie hasn't talked much since I picked him up from school. I don't mean to bother. I can just tell something's wrong. You're not bothering at all. I check my watch to see it's a few minutes past when our meetings usually end. I'm on my way. From the courthouse? Ava asks innocently. I pause a moment before lying. Yup. The door opens behind me and group members begin funneling out. I gotta go. I'll be there soon. A gentle hand caresses my shoulder the second I hang up the phone. I flinch, pulling away until I realize it's Pastor Ben. Shit. Hey, Joseph. He removes his glasses and wipes the lenses with the bottom of his plaid shirt. His salt and pepper hair is unkempt, his beard untamed. Do you want to grab a cup of coffee down the street? There's this old diner that serves a great roast. He asks a question as if he doesn't ask me every time we finish class. I usually bolt the second class ends to avoid these awkward encounters with him. But on rare occasions like this, Pastor Ben manages to subtly chip away at the wall I spent 5 years building up. What he doesn't realize is that I come here to be reminded that people have it worse than me. One of these days, I hope to meet the sorry individual who does. I'm busy, I reply with a hollow smile. See you next week, Pastor Ben. My shoes squeak against the tile floor as I make my way to the exit. Call me Ben, I hear him shout. I'll see you next Thursday. Within minutes, I'm on the bus, funneling a Kit Kat bar. With every tap against my thigh, I run through a potential reason Stevie's in a sad mood, already pondering ways to get him out of it. Stevie has been my son for 11 years, and I still find it amazing how our moods are connected. When Stevie's on top of the world, I'm on top of the world. When Stevie's down in the dumps, I'm right there with him. What makes this connection so fascinating is that nobody sits you down and tells you that this is how it works. As a parent, it just is, and you learn to question the connection less as life goes on. After 2 failed attempts at shoving my front door open, the third attempt is a success. Ava greets me on the other side. He's in his room, she whispers. Our fingers brush against each other as she takes my coat and hangs it on the hook. Another late night at the courthouse? Huh? Yeah, I lie with half my mind on her and the other half on Stevie. I prefer Ava doesn't know that I go to a support group once a week just outside of the neighborhood. With almost every part of my life teetering on the edge of destruction since the accident 5 years ago, the last thing I need is pity. I knock, then slowly push the bedroom door open. Stevie's sitting in the corner of the dark room, his back to me as he sits slumped in his wheelchair. Hey, buddy, I greet softly, turning on the lamp. I sit on the edge of the bed and reveal my open palms. With a single clap, I make the Kit Kat appear in my right hand. Brought you dessert. He ignores my magic trick. I don't want it, he mutters between sniffles. That's a first. I lie sideways, trying to get a look at Stevie's face. He pushes his fogged up lenses closer to his eyes before they slip down the bridge of his nose, then turns away. I know I'm ugly, but too ugly for you to look at me? I tease. He doesn't respond, just sniffles. What happened at school today? Nothing. I delicately run my hand through his curls and catch sight of his left wheel. It's flat. Not again. I exhale. Tell me it was an accident. A tear falls down Stevie's glasses, a response more powerful than one I could have asked for. It was an accident, he whispers. Bullshit. I run my thumb over the tire, feeling the plugs I used to fill every hole poked in the past. It's the 3rd time in 2 weeks that these fucking kids have poked holes in one of his tires. Stevie, who did this? It was an accident, he shouts, his voice high with a rageful undertone. I sigh. How do you expect me to do something about this if you don't give me a name? Stevie shrugs. At least tell me. I'm not going to tell you anything because there's nothing you can do. It's not like you can afford to get me a new chair. You can't even afford to fix the front door. I flex my jaw to keep from letting my own tears fall. He's right. Business has been so slow I can't even afford to defend my own kid from middle school bullies. After a few silent beats, Stevie wipes at one of his tiny cheeks. I'm sorry. Don't be. You're right. I place a hand on his arm. But I'm gonna fix this. I'm gonna fix all of this, I promise. With his head still hanging low, Stevie lifts his arms for me to lift him into bed. Sure, he's growing heavier by the day, but my son will never be too heavy for me to lift. Be it his growth, a bully, or the weight of this broken world, I will always be there to lift my son when he's down. It's moments like these that remind me why I can never act on the thought of ending my own life, no matter how enticing death makes the thought seem. My son needs me. I tuck Stevie in, then sit in his wheelchair with my feet now resting on the bed. You know the drill, I blurt out, lacing my fingers behind my head. Give me a hero. Stevie. Give me a villain. A dragon. I tilt my head, pondering where to begin the story. Once upon a time, there was a knight named Stevie, Sir Stevie, and he rode a valiant steed. How fast? Stevie asks, pushing through his pain. Faster than Prince Charming's horse, that's for sure. I notice Stevie's lips curl up. Sir Stevie's far more handsome than Prince Charming too, because Sir Stevie has his dad's good looks. Stevie giggles. Shut up. Sorry. Anyway, I lean forward, using my hands to help tell the story. Sir Stevie rode west, looking for something more precious and more rewarding than all of the gold in the entire kingdom. What's more precious than gold? Well, I pause a moment. I'll tell you what's more precious than gold. I pan around the room until I fixate on the bookshelf in the corner. The authors' names are etched into the worn spines of the old novels, some written decades ago and others centuries ago. Each novel is left behind to be read years after the author's lifetimes. Leaving a legacy, I state. Sir Stevie was in pursuit of leaving a legacy. A legacy? Stevie scrunches his face. What's a legacy? I stand and raise my hands for dramatic effect. A legacy is the story of a life well lived. It's a story about the main character that lives on long after the main character dies. Stevie props himself on his elbow. Even in the dim light, I catch the gleam in his eye. How will Sir Stevie leave a legacy? I lower myself, the two of us now eye to eye. Sir Stevie will have to slay the dragon threatening the western lands. Then, the people will remember his name for years to come. The people will tell his story of bravery for generations. Can we name the dragon Mikey? Stevie's eyebrows raise with excitement. I cock my head back. You want to name the dragon Mikey? That's a weird name for a dragon. Why Mikey? Stevie's face softens. Mikey's the kid who pokes holes in my tires at school. I wake up the same way I do every morning, with excruciating back pains. Believe it or not, my 50-year-old couch doesn't make for the best bed. I stand with my hands on my hips and jerk my upper body to hear a series of cracks. My spine realigns itself, relief trickling down my shoulders to my waist. Jazz fills the room as it's played from the record player. I pull the needle from the record and rub my eyes. Horizontal streams of golden light seep through the narrow slats of the window blinds. I pull them up, and the morning light floods the cramped living room. When my eyes adjust, I fixate on the guest house on the opposite side of the backyard. I had it built shortly after moving into the neighborhood so that I could rent it out. Sure as hell helps with the bills. My house isn't the prettiest, but it's still prettier than my guest house. The roof is weathered and slopes in all the places it shouldn't. The inside has a kitchenette, bed, and a table packed into a single room plus a bathroom. Somehow, just a few days after putting out a for lease sign, I found a guy willing to rent it out. We didn't talk much when we met. Still don't. I remember the guy telling me he'd pay me more than I asked and in cash if I agreed to leave him alone. You're not supposed to ask a lot of questions when people offer to pay you twice the asking price in cash. So I made it real simple for him. I said, no drugs, no hookers, no guns. He nodded. We shook on it. So all our relationship consists of is an envelope filled with cash on the backyard patio. I don't need to know where the money comes from. As long as it's on my doorstep at the first of every month, I can afford to pay the mortgage. It really helps when business is slow like it's been. As much as I hate to admit it, I need to cross paths with a criminal. I'm in Stevie's room helping him get ready for school when there's a loud thump against the front door. Ava's here, Stevie says casually. Another loud thump, then Ava swings the door open. She smiles cheek to cheek, still catching her breath. Good morning. She blows brown strands of hair out of her face. Who's ready for school? Stevie forces a cough while rolling into the hall. I should skip school today. I think I'm getting sick. Not sick enough, I add from behind. What happened to slaying dragons and leaving a legacy? Dragons, huh? Ava takes Stevie's backpack from my hands. She pulls the strap over her shoulder and her eyes flick between Stevie and me. Am I missing something? Sir Stevie is battling a dragon at school, I say from the doorway. When her eyes meet mine, I mouth, bully. Ah, a dragon? She crouches in front of Stevie, lifting his chin. You can't slay dragons if you're too busy hiding from them. Stevie sighs. Fine. We watch him roll out the front door with his head hanging low. Ava stands to her feet. Her beauty is striking, even when dressed to run her everyday errands. Her bright blue denim jacket hangs over her red flannel, black yoga pants wrapping her legs down to her black boots. Her bangs cover her forehead, but not enough to cover her straight brows. Is it inappropriate to be attracted to your son's nanny? Joseph? Ava asks. Did you hear what I just said? Huh? She giggles, having caught me staring. I ask if you have any dragons to slay today. Shit, I missed that. Dragons. Right. I try to play it cool. Yeah, no, tons of dragons. Best of luck with that. She flashes me a cheeky grin, then turns out the door. I mosey my way back into the living room with nowhere to be. No court hearings to be late to, no calls to miss. When business slows like this, I usually flood the streets with my business cards. But business has been so slow, I can't even afford to buy business cards. I sink into the couch and weave my gold coin between my fingertips, brainstorming ways to make extra cash. I have an extensive network. The only thing is that it's an extensive network of criminals. Throughout my career, I've been offered jobs in both organized and underground crime. It's the only way my clients can express gratitude for proving their innocence. From laundering money to being a middleman in drug deals, I could do it all. And here I am with none, nada, zip, zero. I'm stuck with nothing but empty pockets and my looming depression. I'm stuck in my head for most of the morning until my ringtone sends me into a panic. I dive onto the kitchen table and take a deep breath before picking up. This is Joseph. There's silence on the other end, then a long exhale. I need help. The deep voice belongs to a man. Don't fuck this up, Joseph. I lean forward, gripping the phone closer to my ear. You're looking for representation? The man sighs. Yup. Okay, well, I would be more than happy to help. How soon can you meet to talk over the details? Now, he snaps. I pinch my lips together. I've been on hundreds of introduction calls with a wide range of conflicted people, but not a single one has said so little. Now, right, okay, where would you like to meet? I'm at city jail, bro, the man replies as if I'm supposed to already know. Not a problem at all. I make my way up the hall, my phone sandwiched between my cheek and shoulder. Which jail? Metro Central. I slip my coat on. I'm on my way. Have you said anything to the police yet? Hell no, I ain't dumb. Good man. What's your name? Nikki. Did your parents give you a last name, Nikki? Williams. After 2 pulls, I swing the front door open. I'm on my way, Mr. Williams. I rehearse my introduction while on the bus ride to the city jail. With an empty briefcase for looks and a handful of gel forcing my curls out of my face, I confidently shove the front doors open. The jail's reception area is sparsely furnished with metal benches and plastic chairs. The walls are depressingly painted in shades of gray, while a wall of steel black bars separates police officers from alleged criminals. Unbelievable, I shout, raising my arms. You've got my client behind bars without even taking him to dinner first? The 2 officers at the front desk, one with a bushy mustache and the other with her head buzzed, glance at each other, then at me. Been a while, Joseph, Officer Buzzcut says, her voice deeper than mine. You been on vacation or something? Officer Mustache smirks at her dig. I shrug, then lie. Been so busy I had to take a break. I'm looking for my client, Nikki Williams. Officer Mustache's smirk dissolves. Of course. You're the one representing that punk. That punk? I pinch my brows together. Best be careful letting your opinions keep you from being professional, officer. Would hate to see your name calling result in suspension or termination of employment. Both officers roll their eyes. Officer Mustache stands and makes his way to the wall of bars, dangling a dense set of keys. Williams, come meet the mistake you made. I ignore his insult, eager to impress my new client. As I make my way around the officer's desk, I notice a phone propped up, streaming some TV show they were watching before I arrived. My eyes pan from the desk to one of the holding cells where a cyclops of a man is now standing. The man, who I assume is Nikki, places his hand on a bar which the officer quickly swats away. Give me 6 feet, Officer Mustache commands. Nikki flexes his jaw, obeying his command. He's in a black t-shirt 3 sizes too big. It hangs over a pair of dark blue jeans that are also 3 sizes too big. His shoes are brand spanking new, leading me to believe that whatever crimes he's been committing, he gets away with. The officer gestures for me to enter the cell, and I extend my hand for Nikki to shake. Joseph, I greet, looking up at him. He doesn't shake my hand. With his eyes on mine, he sits back on the bench lining the wall. I clear my throat. You're right. No need for introductions. Let's just get right to it. Officer Mustache lets out a laugh before shutting the cell door. Knock 'em dead, you two. I wipe off the space next to Nikki before I sit. First things first, what are you in for? His eyes flick to mine, and my heart drops when I recognize the familiar panic swirling about in his iris. I struggle to keep my voice a whisper. Holy shit, I know you. You're the guy who robbed the gas station. Nikki itches his coarse goatee before crossing his massive arms. He looks at the ground, and I can already tell this guy is the epitome of stubborn. I lean closer. Is that why you're here? Because of what happened the other day at the gas station? He nods. I turn back to see the officers entranced by the TV show. My gaze meets Nikki again. Listen, you'll need to talk if you want me to help you. Yeah, that's why I'm here, Nikki mutters, his ego shot because we both remember me telling him that he would eventually use my business card. I suck in a quick breath, contemplating whether or not Nikki's worth representing. An armed robbery in broad daylight? No chance we win this case. It wasn't a real gun, and they know it too, Nikki mutters. Come again? It was a fake gun, he continues, avoiding eye contact. I wasn't gonna hurt nobody. The cops arrested me right after. They know it's fake. Maybe Nikki isn't fucked after all. I break down the facts the way I always do. Nikki robs a gas station with a fake gun, not armed robbery. Casualties? No one was hurt. Witnesses? Me and Anthony, the gas station cashier. We actually have a fighting chance here, which means I'll get paid, which means I can pay Ava. I think we can get you out of this, I whisper. But before I do, I need to know if you can afford my rate. Nikki looks up at me. If you can keep me out of jail, I'll double your rate in cash. I salivate at the mouth. You got yourself a fucking deal, pal, I say, offering him my hand. He shakes it this time, his grip so firm it cracks my knuckles. I'm sure I got enough information to get you out on bail. Where do you live? I turn and wave the officers over. The Bronx, Nikki replies. Small world, I chuckle. I do too. What street? Fordham Road. I blink at him. That's my street. Fordham Road. What's the address? Nikki folds his lips between his teeth. Reluctantly, he mutters 4711. Impossible. My heart drops and a cold sweat comes over me. 4711 Fordham Road is my address.